Good Friday morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, and welcome. There's a lot of you that probably aren't happy at this point as we begin this day. You're still sitting in the dark. We had thousands last night, and overall we had EMEPA without roughly 4,000 people, and we had all the others network. It could have been easily somewhere around 6,000 to 8,000 people at one point, or if not more, that were without power last night. Makes it kind of rough on everyone. I wanted to look at the state this morning and just see where we are in Mississippi. As of right now, the entire state of Mississippi is sitting at 1,839. Let me pull this up where you can see what I'm looking at. And we'll look at Alabama as well, of what they've got going on this morning. As we pull this up, this is the look at the United States. Alabama at this point has the most. 12,603 people without power in Alabama. As we go to Mississippi, let's just click on this and pull this up so you can see this. The biggest point is going to be 1,200 people without, 1,839 people without power. The largest is going to be here in Smith County. Now, we'll look at this in just a second and do the breakdown on the local level of letting you see this. We also still have a good bit here in Neshoba County, 152 without power. As we come across to Kemper County, 38, Noxubee, 0, Winston County, down to 16 people. That's good news. As we see Wayne County, south of us, about 175. Jasper still has 121 without power. And again, this is the look at the big state numbers. Let's go in this and look at it a little bit more in detail and start with EMEPA as we look at this. Here's the map that we're looking at on EMEPA as we pulled this up this morning. As we see here, about 100 right along in here in the Meridian area. As you get into Kemper County, we're going to have about 32 just north of Lauderdale. Let's go a little bit closer out here in Louisville, Winston County. Out this way, we have about 24 and 6 in DeKalb. But if you'll look at this, this is just across that Kemper County line where we saw all of that heavy wind move right down through here. Do y'all remember that last night? Now, if you remember, we were at 530 in this area, somewhere around in here, on the rural route, and they've done a lot to get that back on. And then when we got in this area, it was somewhere around, at one point, 2,500 at one spot. So they've made a lot of inroads and got this down to where total affected right now, Kemper County, 38 people. 101 in Lauderdale County out of 16,000. So major changes there as we look at who's without power. Now let's go over and look at the other facilities and places that do this. Mississippi Power this morning, as we look at this, they're showing in the Meridian area roughly 5 people without power. This is going to be in the North Meridian area there. As we come back up and bring you this area here, Central Electric. This will be for you folks that are in Neshoba County watching this morning, also over around Scott County. Let's zoom in on this. We got Philadelphia, around 142 people. North of there, about 6 people. Around Union, Sebastopol area, 17 without power. And then as we get over here to the Forest area there, right at Lake 16 and north of Forest, kind of the northeast there, we'd put that at about 75, west of Conahatta. And as you go up through here, and you can just see it kind of spread out. Alice without power there. That's sort of the look that we've got this morning. That could be worse. As we go back over, and that's a look there. I think we've looked at them all now. I think that's all of our local power companies. I don't think I skipped one. I did not look. Let's pull up Macon, Mississippi, the 4-county area. We need to look at them also as we look at this. Still a few people in the Macon, Mississippi, in that area up here. We pull this up. West Point area around 39 as we get just north of Macon. And right past the split, here's Crawford, Mississippi. We're still looking at 39 people in that area. Out to the right, that one lone person that is sitting there in the dark tonight. And again, that's as far north as we can go into Macon there. Noxubee County looking at it. So that's how we're starting out today. A few folks will be a little bit grumpy. It does make you not happy to have power. You don't seem to have that, that pep in your step. Kind of takes it away. Have to get some coffee on the run. So we're thinking about all of y'all without power this morning as we watch this. As we had major storms come through, I think most people are aware of that. We started out to where I thought that was going to be about a 20 to 30 minute talk, and it turned into, I'm not sure if it was, 3-4 hours long before we finally broke loose on all that. I think so. Now, as we start looking at, it was numerous trees throughout the area that were down. And that caused all this power. Trees were blocked even up by the Evangel Temple. Bob McNeese watching from Chicago. Glad to have you there. As we look, we had a fire last night. As a matter of fact, we had several fires. And let me explain where this is so you'll know it. We have to keep these folks. It looks, I have not spoken to them. And let me see if I can turn that little noise off there where you won't hear that anymore. I think I got rid of that. I have not spoken to the homeowners, but all indications of the pictures that I've received, it is pretty much close to a total loss. If you go down North Hill Street, you get to the end of it where the Dixie station used to be, and it seems like maybe somebody's opened it up. Right there at that intersection. This is what we're looking at right here at the store. The house right before this, you know this was the Dixie gas station for years. It's got a new name now as we come across to look at this. This was the scene in the early morning hours of fire trucks everywhere, blocking the roadway there. And as we get a closer look, you'll see there. And here's a look at the house on fire. Let's zoom in on this. This is that house that sits on the hill. I'm going to say by the all looks of this that was probably a total loss. We need to think of the folks that live there. That's not good. I know that the fire was extinguished. I don't think anybody was hurt, but that doesn't change the fact. And here's a look at the home from a street view from Google as we pull this up. This would be that house. This is where the Dixie gas station sits here, where you turn to go out to Collinsville, and it's the house that sits right here that caught fire. So keep those folks in our community in your thoughts. It's bad for something like that to happen. Now, we go back up the road just a little bit. This happened roughly about the time that we were ending our broadcast last night of the severe weather. We had a fire, and let's look at this. I'm not sure exactly which building, but it would be on either side. I haven't driven in there in quite a while. But the shopping center here on North Hill Street, where we used to have the Piggly Wiggly. One of these buildings here, whichever one is empty, there was a fire in one of those. It was quickly extinguished, but a fire did start in one of those buildings there next to the Dollar General. No major damage from the reports that I'm getting told this morning, but something caused it. Could have been lightning, we're not sure. But fortunately, the fire department was on it. Good job by all of those guys that got out and took care of that. And let me tell you, there were so many people. If you have somebody that is a volunteer fireman, emergency that works 2 jobs, and they're running a little late this morning, give them a break because they worked hard. So many roadways, all these guys had to go out their own time and cut up to get trees out of the way. The firemen, they've got to be exhausted with this. They had many calls last night. I know that there were several where sparks where the trees went down. Grass fires. Even though it was raining, that happens with electricity when those lines go down. So they've had an extremely busy night. Dawn says her sister lives real close to those. Check on them. Let us know how they're doing. We'd like to know that. Yesterday morning, as we were getting ready to start the morning show at 8 o'clock, we had a family. I got a message that there'd been a wreck out on Old Highway 80. As we pull this up, here's the scene of that. And it was a flipped car. And I'm unsure if it was 4 or 5, but I'm told it was several children that were inside this car and that somebody come around the curve possibly on the wrong side of the road. The car flipped. Everyone was okay. That's one of those things that is, you can say that you walk away from and you're blessed. So fortunately, no one was hurt with that. Thank goodness. Now, I'm sure everybody's kind of sore this morning, but a scary time. All children were okay. So we're very thankful for that. This next subject that we're going to talk about, and again, I hit a lot of local things that happen in our area, and then we look at state issues. But I think most people that watch this show agree that, well, Meridian has issues going on right now. Of course, I don't live within the city limits. I'm a county man. But whatever goes on in the city affects what goes on throughout the county and even the surrounding areas. If you're watching from DeKalb, if you're watching from Scuba, if you're watching from Philadelphia, you do business in Meridian, and all the way around. It's a big circle. Meridian is a trade center for the area, one of the biggest towns that we have that reaches out in, say 6, 7, 8 counties, and sometimes you could even stretch that to 12 or so. But as we look at this, as we all know, crime is running rampant in the Meridian area. It's almost like no one's running the show. And I shared this yesterday. We'll talk more about this on the morning show beginning at 8. And I want you to read this because it is definitely a good read. As Percy Bland, the former mayor of Meridian, sent a message to Jimmy Smith. I've shared it here to where it's easy to find. It's on our Facebook page, Scotty Ray Report, right down here. And it's several things down. But I want you to read this. He addresses what's going on in the city and asked Jimmy Smith to quit blaming him. It's well worth the read. I've seen press conferences where he refers to taking over the city and how bad things are and why it is now. And Percy goes into explaining that, well, we had 80-something police officers and we're now down to about 20. And when I say 20, this is people that can actually arrest people. You do the mathematics on that per shift that we've got. I think it's 4 shifts. That doesn't leave a lot of people extra, does it? We've got a lot of newbies. There's nothing, not running anybody down that's a new police officer. It's just you don't have the experience that an experienced police officer knows. The beat, the area, contacts. We all know that. And what to do in situations. They're learning. And typically the way that works is they ride with somebody that's been a police officer for years and pick up all of this. We don't have that to spare right now, do we? Interesting read, and again, we'll read part of this coming up this morning at 8 o'clock. And I think it needs to be addressed. A lot of people think that, and he got a lot of comments that were in favor of Percy, of what he had to say. I want y'all to read that. Cindy said it was a great article. Straightforward, and I think most of us will agree with that. Regardless of what you thought, and I remember hearing people would say, well, Percy's not doing this, he's not doing that. Whatever the problem was, he didn't hide. He came out and spoke. Our city council that we have now, no matter what happens, we don't know where they are. Each time someone gets killed, we're not hearing from a police chief. We're not hearing from the mayor. I think those things need to be addressed. We all like to know what's going on. Am I wrong? Great leaders do that. We call upon them to be heard from. We'll have more on this. We'll talk about it this morning as the morning show kicks off at 8 o'clock. Won't you join us? We'll be here on Facebook. We'll be on YouTube as well. Always have a couple ways to follow us. You can follow us there at Sam Media on YouTube. It's written a little different. On Facebook, it's Scotty Ray Report. You can Google that or search that also in YouTube. It'll still find us. And you can find us on Twitter. And then also we're going to be on television as well. We'll be on Fox 30. All kicks off at 8 a.m. I spoke to what we'll call the High Sheriff, Eric Clark, Neshoba County. We've got the Neshoba County Fair going on this week. A little rain rolled through the area last night. But as I spoke to Eric, he said, look, I want to make it very clear that we've made a lot of room at the Neshoba County Jail. If you do wrong this week during the fair, we will arrest you. It started off just that way yesterday. And I got a video of this, and I spoke with Eric, and he goes, yeah, he's in jail now, and we'll show you all of this. Let's show you the video. Let me pull this up here. This is Highway 15 is where this is. This gentleman is driving along, and I want you, it's going to be kind of loud when I hit this, but I want you to pay attention. You'll see that was a motorcycle. That was a motorcycle that flew by at speeds of somewhere between 100 and 115 miles an hour. It was someone running from the law. They caught him, and here's a quick look at that as they made the arrest right up the road there. You can click on this, and we've got the entire file there where you can read the arrest report. They're making some other charges with that, fleeing, and, well, he made it down the road, and as you saw them escorting him across the road there, motorcycle caught on fire. Engine blew. Off to jail he went. Again, Plenty of room at the Neshoba County Jail. Don't be messing up this week. It's family fun. That's what it's all about at the Neshoba County Fair. That's what we want to continue at that. Good morning from Missouri. Joan Howard, how are you doing? Glad to see you there. As we look around, let's look at a few more things. We send condolences to Jackson, Mississippi. I don't know if you're aware of what went on yesterday. Horrible. As police were in a high-speed pursuit yesterday afternoon, somebody was fleeing, a 20-year-old, and a Toyota Camry ran in traffic and hit a United States postal worker. The postal worker would die just a little bit later from his injuries from that wreck. We pass along condolences to the victim as Brad Innington. He was 32 years old. He was a United States postal worker delivering mail yesterday in Jackson. Hit unexpectedly, and as we all know, the mailman gets in and out. He was thrown from the vehicle and died from those injuries. They've made the arrest. Can't be fixed, can't be taken back. Well, if you're up to aware of this, as we go down to the Hattiesburg area, a Union, Mississippi man has been charged in a 5-car pileup that claimed the life of a 5-year-old. It was a DUI as we go to this. Horrible that we even have to put this out. Marty Leach has been arrested, a 30-year-old from Union, Mississippi. The wreck happened on Wednesday, eastbound of US 98 near Cross Creek Parkway. A little after 9 p.m. is when it happened on Wednesday night. Rear-ended a car. Several people hurt, and the 5-year-old that was in the back seat died from its injuries there. He's from Union. There's going to be some serious charges that come with this. State Auditor Shad White, as we all know, has made more arrests as we saw a high school principal arrested yesterday. A superintendent has got in trouble. Why? Well, it was a scheme. As it goes, a made-up company, and they've done just enough to try to make it look good, but an audit made it surface. The Nichols Elementary principal was arrested there at the school. It just keeps going on. We've got 3 arrests, Briggs, Nance, and Robinson. State auditor busted that. Serious there. What they were doing, the women are accused of creating a fraudulent business for educational consulting. Robinson authorized payments to the business with minimal services performed in order to appear as a legitimate company. The 3 are accused of working together to draw nearly $45,000 from the Coffeyville School District. Got serious there. Shad White's all on it. We've got that listed on our page. You can read all about it. But that's a headline across the state. He's done a lot with busting things like this that are fraudulent, getting taxpayers back their money. We tell him good job there. Also, as we look at this, it was a headline yesterday that read that, well, maybe you'd be able to take guns to school. Something had changed. And as we go to this, the Mississippi Department of Education has responded and said that is not the case. They just wanted to clarify some wording to where things wouldn't be contradictory. They said that they wanted to offer clarification to the media reports that misrepresented the intent and effect of the state board's vote. The state board has taken no action to allow guns in school. The state board's action does not give school personnel the ability to carry guns in schools. Rather, the state board's vote removed language from a policy that conflicted with Mississippi's 2011 enhanced carry law. And it goes on and on with that. But as they try to clarify what was done in that vote, because I did see that as well, that we possibly could start carrying guns. That's not the case from what they're saying. Lawyers will get into that, I'm sure. All it takes is one word to change something. We'll watch it closely. A Gulfport man has pleaded guilty to armed robbery and manslaughter. Doesn't get much worse than that, does it? District Attorney has announced that a 24-year-old Samuel Maurice Bridges of Gulfport pleaded guilty last week to a 2019 robbery that he did where he killed a 23-year-old. Awful. All because they wanted to take something that wasn't theirs. Someone lost their life. He'll be facing jail time. As we go to Tupelo, things that you read that you go, how could this even happen there? I think it was last Wednesday at a Walmart there. A scuffle happened out in the parking lot. A knife was pulled. Someone was cut. I don't think it was very serious, but they were cut. People knew who it was. They turned it over to police. They hadn't caught it. They got a call a couple days later. Somebody, an unauthorized person, just jumped in the swimming pool, went for a swimming pool at a local hotel. Police showed up, and guess who it was? Yep, it was their knife bandit. They've made the arrest and off to jail. That swim didn't do well for them. Numerous charges now. It does make you scratch your head. We got a new trial that's ordered for a Yazoo County woman. She's accused of killing her father. This goes back to 2022. The Mississippi court ruled to reverse the decision of this. Again, this happened in Yazoo. Courtney Williams appealed the conviction. The Mississippi Supreme Court ruled that the trial abused its discretion by refusing Williams' proposed jury instructions. The case was reprimanded, and a new trial is going to be placed on this. She was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 15 years in prison back in 19. She's getting a new trial. I don't remember that. But boy, that's we'll see what becomes of it. A new trial is issued. Will it end up the same way? I don't know. We'll watch that and let you know. A Lowndes County man has been arrested in the Crawford community. That's going to be north of Macon there. Shooting. We have a death that has happened in the state of Mississippi also as we look at this. We go down to Natchez. Natchez Trace Parkway. Somebody ran off the road, lost their life with that. Horrible, horrible. As we look at this, I see, you hate to see things like that, but we've all seen these domestic violence cases. And we lost an officer's life in the Meridian area over a domestic dispute. Y'all remember that? This comes as, and you've seen this, between a father is always going to protect his daughter the best he can. A father was arguing with his daughter's boyfriend. He has lost his life. He was shot and killed. How horrible can this be? And that's what went on with this. He was shot and killed in a driveway, and it stemmed from an argument with a boyfriend. Canton is where all this took place. They've arrested, happened around 6:30 on late Wednesday night as we get this. Joe Ringo, 61, was shot multiple times in his driveway. They've arrested the boyfriend at 24. What kind of argument could lead to that, and why? That's Canton, Mississippi, where that went on. A lot going on across the state of Mississippi. We've got so much to offer you coming up this morning at 8 o'clock. Make sure you're here for all of that. Now, let's get into the weather this morning and find exactly what's going to go on. Let's going to do that next. Y'all stay with us. We'll be right back.
Mike Rice here with Mike Rice Auctions and Wholesale. We have just signed the contract on the High Cotton Marketplace in Waynesboro, Mississippi. We've got a great auction lined up for you for July the 23rd. It'll be an online and in-person auction, so you can check out www.mikericeauctions.highbid.com. But majority of this stuff will be sold in person. It'll be an absolute auction, which means everything will go to the highest bidder. Mike Rice here with Mike Rice Auctions and Wholesale. We'll see you guys Saturday, July 23rd.
If you're getting ready to purchase land, make sure you have it surveyed. Contact our friends at the Woodlands Group. Maybe you're selling land, dividing land up. Whatever the case is, the Woodlands Group can help you there. They handle residential and commercial clients. And again, they specialize in property line location, site plans, and a whole lot more. Maybe you have a construction project, and they have the latest equipment to make sure it's done right, including drones. Call Justin Palmer or Brandon Briggs at the Woodlands Group, Surveying Solutions. Good morning to Daryl Jones, watching us from Meridian. Glad to see you there. All the way from Carthage this morning. James Sullivan, how are you? Denise Fulton is up. Chad White is cleaning up Mississippi. He does a lot of that. JT Rigdon, how are you today? A lot of you. Good to see you there. As we look at radar this morning, let's go and take a look at Meridian Honda radar as we start our day. As you'll notice, only down around Natchez do we have any showers really occurring in the state. A little bit around the coast possibly there. We'll zoom in on that. As we look at this, as we look right across the state line last night, trees were blown down there around Cuba, Alabama, as a report is sent to the National Weather Service. As we see just east of Scuba, multiple trees were blown down there in northern Sumter County. And this is going to be just due east of Scuba past the Giles community, all in that area there. We have a heat advisory in effect today. If you'll see this until 7 p.m. tonight for Kemper, Neshoba County. We also got that for Scott County and all these areas northward. Lauderdale County at this moment does not have one. I expect that to change before the day is out. Be ready for that. As we're showing Baton Rouge, heavy showers this morning. Woodville, Mississippi, a lot of rain here. Nothing right in our area there as we look at this. That's what we're doing and seeing. Got a little bit of fog there moving up through Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I know we had a lot of folks that watched the area there from up in the Tennessee area. That's a brief overview of what we're looking at on radar this morning. Let's get into the forecast now and do a breakdown for you.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we look at our record highs and record lows today, well, that's what we're showing there. 1981, it was hot. It was 104 degrees. Can you believe that? Back on this day, the record low was set back in 1947, as our record low was 58 degrees on this day. That's kind of cool for us, wasn't it? That's what the forecast called for on that day. Set a record there as we move forward to find out. This is what holds for us today. 91 in the Meridian area, and rain heavier to the south of us, Hattiesburg, those areas there. As we get north of here, it looks okay. We'll have periods of sunshine today, 50% chance of showers. As we cut across to Bama, Demopolis, 89 for a high. We'll see about 91 there as well in Livingston. Cooler at Auburn, Alabama. Looks like a high of about 86 as we go to look at the heat. Again, this is what we just looked at. Well, right now, we've got this heat advisory listed for these areas north of the Meridian area. We're still going to could see about 105 in the Meridian area. You could see worse, 106 to 110, Philadelphia, Winston. All of these areas up to Mississippi State and back west toward Jackson. Now, that's going to be starting at 11 till 7, and we should look at this through Sunday. Look at this, how this is going to be. The Delta, 115-ish. The Meridian area, Sunday as we begin next week, is going to be somewhere between 105 and 110. That's not cool. It's hot. We urge you to be very careful for anything that you're doing outside. We don't want anybody to get hurt. As we come across and look at our forecast as what's going to happen over the next 6 to 10 days, temperatures is going to be warm. Not as bad as it's been, but we have another section here coming out of Texas coming, and we'll watch this as it moves across the United States. Here's our forecast as we move into today. As I mentioned, we've got a 50% chance of showers. Mainly this will come after 3 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to hit 91, and that heat index can fall anywhere from 101 to 105 today. A warm, warm day for us. By tonight, decreasing to a 30% chance of showers. Back tomorrow, as we'll get a 50% chance of showers. That'll move in after 10 o'clock in the morning for Saturday, that 50% chance there. Mostly cloudy, as we'll get that, and we'll get some periods of sunshine. Heat index tomorrow should reach about 100. As we head off to church on Sunday, 30% chance of showers. And it should give you a chance to make it back to your car with those rain chances moving in after 1. That's the good news. High of 94. As we go back to work Monday, we've got 95, we got 94, and rain chances hold steady throughout the week with temperatures somewhere right around 94 for the week. Now let's go ahead for another week into August. August the 5th, we look. It's going to hold steady anywhere from 94 to 96 for the temperatures with roughly scattered shower chances just about every day. No major ones yet. We'll watch all of this. There we go. Now, what's happening in the tropics? Absolutely nothing. And again, we're at July the 22nd. Doesn't mean it can't happen quickly, but so far the Gulf and the Atlantic is looking great. Nothing headed for them. Been a slow season so far. As we look at our fishing report from Chet's Paint and Body, what's going to happen today? First major time, about 8 a.m. It's time to hit the water from 8 to 10 this morning. You'll get another chance right at dark 30 if you're out and about when it's a little bit cooler there. Wind's going to be southwest 5 to 10 miles an hour today if you're planning on going fishing. That's a look at our forecast. Again, we're coming back in roughly an hour and 1 minute from now as we'll bring you another show. Candace will be here, and we'll talk about everything that's going on in the community, what went on last night. We'd love to have you a part of it. Again, you can join us here at Facebook, Scotty Ray Report. Join us over on YouTube, another clear channel and a great way for a backup in case you get cut off or you can't get a good signal. Another way to do that. And also, we'll be on Fox 30 Meridian. All that's on the way. Thank y'all for coming by. We appreciate it. We'll be in touch and be back in roughly 1 hour from now with another live show just for you. Thanks so much.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: